History whispers from the past. It beckons us to unravel its mysteries. But what if the stories we hold dear are merely illusions? What if the events that shaped our world never actually happened? It's easy to get lost in the patterns, mistaking shadow for substance. We cling to historical narratives. They provide comfort, order, and meaning. But what happens when these narratives crumble under scrutiny? We are left with unsettling questions, forced to confront the possibility that history itself is an enigma. This is the unsettling realm we dare to explore. We will delve into the annals of time, examining events that have shaped civilizations and ignited imaginations. Join me, fellow travelers, as we embark on a journey to unmask history and confront the shadows that lurk within its folds. From the Trojan War to the French Revolution, certain historical events loom large in our collective consciousness. These events have been immortalized in literature, art, and film. They serve as cautionary tales, heroic sagas, and pivotal moments that shaped the course of human history. But what if these seemingly unshakable pillars of the past are built on shaky ground? Consider the legend of the Trojan horse, a tale of cunning strategy and ultimate betrayal, or the image of Nero fiddling while Rome burned, a symbol of callous indifference in the face of disaster. Historians and archaeologists have unearthed evidence that challenges the traditional narratives. These dissenting voices urge us to re-examine the past, to separate fact from fiction, and to confront the possibility that some of history's most iconic moments may have unfolded quite differently than we have been led to believe. The Trojan War, a conflict etched in ancient Greek mythology, has captivated imaginations for millennia. The story, immortalized in Homer's epic poems, tells of a decade-long siege fueled by love, betrayal, and the pursuit of Helen. At the heart of this epic tale lies the Trojan horse, a symbol of cunning strategy and military deception. The Greeks, after years of futile siege warfare, devised a cunning plan. They constructed a massive wooden horse, ostensibly an offering to the goddess Athena, and left it at the gates of Troy as a gesture of surrender. The Trojans, believing the Greeks had finally admitted defeat, dragged the colossal horse within their city walls, unaware that it concealed a contingent of Greek warriors. But how much of this epic tale is rooted in historical fact, and how much is the product of myth and poetic license? While the Trojan War and its legendary horse have long been relegated to the realm of myth, archaeological discoveries in the late 19th century unearthed the ancient city of Troy. Located in modern-day Turkey, the ruins provided tantalizing evidence that the Trojan War may have been more than a mere legend. Excavations revealed a city that had been destroyed and rebuilt multiple times, suggesting a history marked by conflict. However, the scale of the ruins and the nature of the artifacts recovered painted a different picture of the Trojan War than the one depicted in Homer's epics. The Troy revealed by archaeology was a much smaller city than the grand metropolis described by Homer. So, while the Trojan War may have been inspired by real events, the epic scale and dramatic flourishes of the legend appear to be embellishments. The enduring power of the Trojan horse myth lies in its exploration of themes that resonate deeply within the human psyche: deception, betrayal, and the allure of victory snatched from the jaws of defeat. The story serves as a cautionary tale, warning against complacency and the dangers of underestimating one's enemies. It reminds us that things are not always as they appear, and that even the most formidable defenses can be breached through cunning and deceit. But beyond its narrative appeal, the Trojan horse also offers a glimpse into the ways in which history is shaped, reshaped, and ultimately passed down through generations. History, it seems, is not merely a recording of facts, but rather a tapestry woven from threads of truth, myth, and interpretation. The Trojan horse stands as a testament to the enduring power of stories to shape our understanding of the past, even in the face of contradictory evidence. Few historical figures have been as demonized as Nero, the fifth Roman emperor. His reign, marked by political intrigue, lavish spending, and a series of calamities, has been overshadowed by the legend of his callous indifference during the Great Fire of Rome. The story goes that in 64 AD, a fire swept through the city, engulfing homes, temples, and public buildings in its destructive path. As Rome burned, legend has it that Nero, far from taking charge of the crisis, retreated to his palace donned his lyre and callously serenaded the inferno with his own compositions. This image of Nero fiddling while Rome burned has become synonymous with leadership negligence and a disregard for the suffering of the people. But how much of this damning portrayal is rooted in historical fact, and how much is the product of propaganda, rumor, and the passage of time? While the Great Fire of Rome was undoubtedly a devastating event, historical accounts suggest that Nero's response to the crisis was far more engaged and compassionate than the legend suggests. Contemporary historians, though often critical of Nero's reign, noted that upon hearing of the fire, the emperor rushed back to Rome from his villa in Antium. He immediately organized relief efforts, opening his own gardens and public buildings to provide shelter for the displaced populace. Nero also implemented measures to prevent future disasters, such as widening streets and mandating the use of fireproof materials in new construction. These actions suggest a ruler concerned with the welfare of his people, not the indifferent monster portrayed in legend. Some historians posit that the rumors were spread by Nero's political enemies, eager to discredit him and seize power. Others suggest that the story arose from popular resentment towards Nero's lavish spending and his perceived detachment from the concerns of ordinary Romans. The enduring myth of Nero's musical indifference during Rome's fiery ordeal serves as a stark reminder of the power of propaganda and the malleable nature of historical narratives. In the aftermath of the fire, Nero's enemies seized upon the opportunity to discredit him, blaming him for the disaster and spreading rumors of his callousness. These accusations, amplified through gossip and fueled by political expediency, quickly took root in the public imagination, solidifying into an enduring legend that has persisted for centuries. The fiddling Nero myth highlights the importance of critically examining historical sources and questioning narratives that seem too convenient or sensationalized. It reminds us that history is often written by the victors, and that the voices of the marginalized, the defeated, and the maligned are often lost or deliberately silenced. By scrutinizing the evidence, challenging assumptions, and seeking out alternative perspectives, we can begin to piece together a more nuanced and accurate understanding of the past. Marie Antoinette, the last Queen of France before the French Revolution, remains one of history's most infamous figures. She is often portrayed as a callous and out-of-touch monarch, more concerned with lavish parties and extravagant gowns than with the plight of her impoverished subjects. One of the most enduring legends surrounding Marie Antoinette is the infamous "let them eat cake" quote, often cited as evidence of her utter indifference to the suffering of the French people. The story goes that when informed that the peasants had no bread, Marie Antoinette, in a display of shocking obliviousness, replied, "Let them eat cake." This quote, whether apocryphal or not, has come to symbolize the perceived extravagance and insensitivity of the French aristocracy in the years leading up to the Revolution. But how much of this negative portrayal is rooted in historical fact? And how much is the product of revolutionary propaganda, sexist stereotypes, and the passage of time? While Marie Antoinette undoubtedly lived a life of privilege and luxury, historical evidence suggests that she was not the heartless monster portrayed in revolutionary propaganda. In fact, she often expressed concern for the plight of the poor and supported charitable causes. The "let them eat cake" quote attributed to Marie Antoinette is highly unlikely to be a factual utterance. The phrase, often rendered as "let them eat brioche" in French, was a popular anecdote circulating in the decades prior to the French Revolution, often attributed to various aristocratic figures. During the tumultuous years leading up to the Revolution, Marie Antoinette became a convenient scapegoat for the revolutionaries. She was foreign-born, perceived as frivolous and out of touch, and her Austrian heritage made her an easy target for accusations of disloyalty. The stories we tell about the past, whether rooted in fact or embellished by myth and legend, have a profound impact on how we understand the present and shape the future. By scrutinizing historical narratives, questioning assumptions, and seeking out diverse perspectives, we can begin to unravel the complexities of the past and gain a more nuanced and accurate understanding of the forces that have shaped our world. The journey to unmask history is not about debunking cherished myths or tearing down historical figures. Rather, it is about embracing the messy, often contradictory nature of the past, and recognizing that our understanding of history is constantly evolving. By engaging in critical thinking, challenging established narratives, and approaching the past with curiosity and an open mind, we can move beyond simplistic heroes and villains and embrace the richness and complexity of the human story.